Hi guys, nothing to prove here. Today's a beautiful day because any day one can be out on two wheels. It's a beautiful day. And yeah, we are finally out on the new, last year, 2022 Ducati Monster, although it was new in 21. Say, what was new? Well, take a look. What's the obvious thing? Yeah, the trellis frame is now missing. All you see now is there and there, and then it disappears and comes out here. This frame is from, yeah, the Panigale. Just the front part, not the subframe. And yeah, you guessed it. Say, wait a minute, isn't that a pretty serious sport bike? Yeah, it is. It's a pretty serious sport bike. And it has changed the characteristic of this monster. Now, which poses the question, is this still a monster? Well, it depends. Have you ridden a monster in the last 3 decades? If you have, you would not recognize this. If you were blindfolded, if you could ride a motorcycle blind, and take this out, you'd be like, it's a middleweight naked. Yep, that's what this feels like now. To me, it no longer feels like a monster, guys. Monsters were originally developed in the early 90s. Well, 93 was the first year, but in 91, 92, when they were developing it, the number one thing that they set out to accomplish was to make a everyday rideable bike that is not a sport bike. Say, why are you telling us this, Scott? What's this frame? It's a sport bike frame. So basically, this is a naked sport bike, which is a naked bike, which the monsters were never originally intended to be. Is this a good bike? Yes, it still is a good bike. Does it set itself apart now from the other nakeds? Nah, it's the same. Let's get off my rant and let's get into the power and where this bike fits in this middleweight performance group. Now, as you can see on this list, Ducati has 2 bikes in this performance group. I do have a budget. Nah, that's way too cheap, so I couldn't put this and separate and leave just one Ducati on here. Now I have to have 2 Ducatis in the performance group. I wanted to put this in the budget, but 12 grand, this is not a budget middleweight naked. But so on power, it's right there. It's not too bad with power. Torque, again, not bad. Weight, again, not bad. Price, again, not bad. So Ducati, you've managed to be not bad. So there's a difference between trying to be good or great and not failing. This is a lesson in not failing. Good job at not failing, Ducati, yes. If that's what you were setting out to do, you've accomplished it. Now, do you stand out in this chart like the monsters used to? Yeah. Monsters have changed over the years and have evoked emotion. One that really evokes my emotion is the 2011 Evo, 1100 Evo, and also if you get the 20th anniversary, well, you know, with the gold trellis frame celebrating the original 1993. Oh yeah. Which, by the way, Becca team in there in Laga has a used one sitting there with 25,000 kilometers on it for 8.5 grand, 9 grand. I'm really giving that some serious thought. I love that bike. It evokes emotion. This bike does not. That's the difference between the bikes, guys. So is this a monster? Yes, it is. Is it the same as in the last 30 decades? No, Ducati's changed it. And this is the first year, 2021, that you can no longer get an air-cooled monster. That's another thing that gives those characteristics. So how does this powertrain, you guys have seen the power numbers, feel on the street? Let's try the quick shifter, shall we? Yeah, of course. Okay, little. Okay, that's pretty good. A little clunky between first and second, but that's difficult. But figure out a 12 grand middleweight naked, you could nail it. Because Triumph did it, BMW didn't do it, KTM did it. Now let's do just 30% throttle. Clunky, but that's better. That's real good. Fifth and sixth. Oh yeah, there we go. Whoa, get over. I'm in the right tire track. They would have hit me. Okay, let's. Where does this thing like to live, though? Look at that. Way above 4 grand, guys. That's where this power is. That's where the motor likes to be. Anything below 4 grand, and it just does not like it. And this is that traditional hello 937 motor. It does not like to be below 4 grand. See, because when I bring it all the way up in the 6th tier, look at everything shaking. Look at the water, the fluid, the brake fluid, and hydraulic fluid. Yeah, it doesn't like this. Just go back down to, get it to 4. Yeah, it's there. 3rd gear and 80 kilometers per hour is good. But then the sound. Oh yeah, that sound is great. So the power is this typical 937 motor, guys. Does not like to be below 4, and it likes to be over 6 for your lots of power. But the overall sound of this bike is actually pretty good. If you just rev the snot out of it. Yeah. The problem with this bike and putting this motor and this Panigale frame in a monster is that it likes to be thrashed. It likes its neck to be wrung out, guys. Now that's a problem. Say, because monsters were never intended to be balls to the walls. That's a Street Fighter. Get the Street Fighter if you're going to do that. And so this is where I think with this frame and this motor, well, yeah, they could have put the 955 motor, Panigale motor in it, and they didn't. So they said, we're going to back it off a little bit with the 937, which is just fine and dandy. But now you've got this precision frame in this that says, oh, I want to go fast. But yet the motor says, yeah, I want to be above 6, but I don't have a whole lot of power. So it's like, I don't know if Ducati was what they were aiming for here. I think they've kind of missed the old monster mentality. Is it still a monster? Yes, it is. Has it changed? Yes, it has. It's no longer the monster of the past 3 decades, unfortunately. All right, guys, let's come up to the chassis, the suspension here. You can see here, non-adjustable there. Coming all the way down here, fitted to it. Yeah, look at these nice discs, good sized discs here. And of course, yes, touch of class with Brembos there. And of course, monster touch of class there, Brembo on the brake with a reservoir. And yes, over there, hydraulic clutch with, yes, Brembo. So those are nice touches. You know, of course, for 12 grand, you better give me something like that. On the rear. And also 2 piston Brembos here. And also a 245 disc there. Adjustable for preload. As you can see, way up in there, you can see the preload. How is this, though? This new, stiffer, more sport-oriented frame. So now the whole chassis, how does that feel on the street? How is this rear brake? It's really vague. Okay, let's see if I can bring it all the way down there. It's not bad. It's a lot of reach there for the rear brake. But the front is much better. Yeah, oh yeah, much better than the rear. But for
middleweight naked in this price group, I would expect more from that rear brake. Now, the rest of the suspension, these non-adjustable front forks, they're doing fairly good. I'm feeling it though. I'm feeling more bumps. If you guys have ridden a Monster in the last, say, 3 decades, this does not feel like it. I don't know what it, I know what it is. It's this Panigale frame. That's the difference. That's what it's got to be. Because this thing will nail a line much better than the old Monster. But yeah, oh, excellent. And I took it down this very difficult road, very bumpy road on purpose to see how this suspension would cope and translate all these bumps to the rider. And with this new frame, this Panigale frame, it's really doing it pretty good, actually. I can feel everything. And some of you say that's a bad thing, but no, on this, that's a good thing. So really, for this chassis overall, for the improvement, now somebody would say, is it like the old Monster? No, it's not. It's stiffer. It's more precise. It's more surgical instead of, more fillet knife than just a normal steak knife, for example. The old one was a steak knife. This is more of a fillet knife. Very precise in a corner. When you pick a line, you got to be careful, because this thing will hit it with ruthless precision, guys. That's the difference with this chassis from this new Monster. So this chassis, even though the rear brake is kind of it's still getting 2 thumbs up from me. Boom, boom.
Now let's get into the ergonomics, guys. Let's take a look at the rest of this bike. Yeah, it does look pretty good from the back here. It's missing the trellis frame there, but then as you come to the back, it improves a little bit. Although we could have really used a single-sided swing arm here. The tail, nicely done. Yeah, you can remove this if you want a passenger on there. Also, nice lighting back here. Coming up to the seat, it is actually nice and wide. I was surprised. Kind of hard though. After a couple hours I was on this, it's nice and wide, yes, as you can see here. And yeah, you can take that off. It's kind of hurt after a while, after about 2 hours of riding this. Tank filled up. This bike weighs right there in the weight group, right in the middle of the weight group. Oh yeah, I turned it on. Here, let me turn it back off. Filled up, it's pretty good, the weight. Now, but with this little tank and this fuel economy, I topped this tank off, and 152 kilometers later, kilometers, not miles. So what is that, 90 miles? Yeah, almost 100, 95 miles. The low fuel light came on. So, so if you're gonna go out for an hour-and-a-half ride, you need to top this bad boy off, because otherwise you're gonna be stopping midway. And it's not gonna be a fun stop, because I do not call stopping at a gas station to get gas fun. You know, unless you're a sugarholic and you like coffee or treats and whatever. I don't. I would rather stop at a location like this. Yeah, look at this whole location. Yeah, and look at here where I'm at here, also going all the way around. Yeah, this is a gorgeous location. Now this is where I like to stop. Although now my low fuel light is on, so now I got 40 kilometers left in this tank to get me to the nearest gas station. So how, speaking of gas stations and towns, how does this feel in the street in a little village?
Oh, in a little village like this, yeah, the handling is awesome. Oh, the speed limit's 30, so let's drop her down to 1, and let's try the on-off is actually a little catchy, but I'm in touring, and so it should be really smooth, but it's not as smooth as I would like. It's not even as smooth as the KTM or the MT-09 or the Triumph RS. But oh well. But yeah, everything else is as expected with any of your middleweight nakeds. They're, yeah, effortless in town. And you have this nice upright riding position, maybe 2-3 degrees lean forward. And so it's pretty good in town for your commanded view. Now, would I want to commute in traffic with this? Maybe not. Because of this throttle and this ANSI 937 motor, it's ANSI here. It's sitting here at $3,000 in first gear doing 30. So even if you go up a gear, oh, that even makes it worse. Look at the liquid jump in both of the reservoirs here. So yeah, as a city commuter, I don't think this would do so great, or even in the city, not really. Along with the stiffer suspension. But in town, I'll give it 1 thumb up. You know, sure, it's getting 1. Boom.
Controls and display. Yeah, the controls are pretty standard here with Ducati, although you can see right there, yeah, you can also control your menu options here, using the turn signal. So the turn signal is a dual function there. Standard controls over here, and you got your lights there. Kind of a small TFT, although, you know, in this middleweight naked group, this is pretty par. 4, 5, 6.5 inch on the BMW, but I think that's the largest you can get. Pretty standard, pretty basic. But when I sit back here, like I'm sitting on the bike, it's not bad, guys. Really, it's not. Let me show you the riding position here also. Oh, I got to keep my hand on them here. I'll put my foot on the brake. So the riding position is not bad. It's a lot of travel for that rear brake. I would have to adjust that. You can see how far my foot's going down to stop me from rolling backwards. But sitting here, looking at this TFT, I have no problems reading it. And you guys know I wear reading glasses. And if it's too small, although it's getting kind of difficult to read this over here, I really have to squint to read the 54 degrees C and the DQS, quick shifter is on. Okay, yeah. The TC, I can barely read those, and then the numbers there. But it's good. It's par for this cost and this group. Although KTM, Triumph, BMW, you're all going to get bigger displays and a little nicer. That's opinion, although the KTM display I really don't care for, but this I'd like better than the KTM. Overall though, guys, yeah, you can see my overall demeanor in this video. Am I having fun on this bike? Sure, it's a fun middleweight naked. But the con though is it's no longer a monster, in my humble opinion. Now we can discuss till we're red or blue in the face below. Ride one, then decide for yourself if this is still a monster, guys. Is it getting two thumbs up? Yeah, it is. It is a great middleweight naked bike. Boom, boom. If somebody would say, is it a great monster? It's no longer a monster, in my humble opinion. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little negative video. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. And this is it. I'm letting you guys know. I'm not going to hold back. All right, guys. As always, ride safe. That's most important on the list. And number 2, guys, ride like there's nothing to prove. Take care. Cheers.